are not so familiar about what is Shevielle, I'm just going to give you guys a quick intro as to who we are and what we do. So basically, Shevielle is an organic-based hair and skincare brand that seeks to holistically improve the health of our customers' hair and skin by providing natural remedies, dietary suggestions, and of course, natural products to help you guys get optimal hair and skin health. So that's basically who we are in a nutshell. Starting out, I had the idea of the brand being not just about the products, but with the idea of being natural, being more than just the products, but a lifestyle in general. So before we get into the hot topics, right, let's just speak a bit about what the purpose of the webinar is. So the first purpose of the webinar is hopefully to inspire others inspire others to actually start entrepreneurial ventures of their own by sharing our stories, the ups and the downs of entrepreneurship, and secondly, to speak about the growth and the journey of Shevielle. That's why it's entitled The Journey Then versus Now. And finally, we'll speak about financial management and how that is actually very important for entrepreneurial success. Right? So I just want to let Tanajh go first, so you can give your story about how we actually met.
Okay. So I was in fourth form and I decided that I want to start a business. I always thought the idea of starting a business was something that, you'd have to have a ton of money or a ton of knowledge. And I just thought that, I'm in fourth form. So like, how am I going to start a business? Like, I don't know anything about business. I study the sciences right now. The only thing I know about business is what I see on Shark Tank or, the shows that I watch on TV. But, the club at Ulm was called WFSC, which, was rebranded to become the Entrepreneurship Club, had an expo, and there were, different entrepreneurs or, students who were showcasing their businesses. And I said, if they can do it, I can do it too. So I just became really excited because I was saying, okay, like this is my opportunity to actually try it out and, to get some experience. And I decided to just go for it. I didn't really, feel like I had anything to lose because, you're young and it's an experience. So I said, this is going to be my hobby because I'm not good with sports. I cannot sing, I cannot dance, but I like business. I like making money. So that's going to be my hobby, right? So I decided that I wanted to go into hair products because I used to research so much about hair products because I went natural. And, the whole natural hair movement was just taking off at that time. And I was like, I know so much information. I'm going to grab the ingredients and make the products. And I was in fourth form. So this was about 6 years ago, guys. 6 years. And I bought the, measuring spoons, and I bought the oils, and I bought the bottle, the packaging equipment. And most of the places that I went to get the stuff, I had to walk or take a taxi. I walked all over the place. And where did I design my labels? I did design my labels on Microsoft Word, and I printed everything and I sorted myself out. And
it was called Tanajh, like N-A-J.
Yes, it was called Tanajh. So the business was Tanajh, and I launched it I believe at the beginning of fifth form, and I sold hair butters and hair oils. And I spoke a lot about hair care, everything that I learned, I shared it. Persons came to me, even though like I did not have the best hair. Like my hair was always a mess. I couldn't style my hair to save my life. It was healthy, but it was a mess. And persons used to come to me and say, how do I know this? How do I do this? How do I know this? And I used to tell them everything. And I just, just the community and the business was more than just making money. And trust me, it was more than making money because I don't even know if I made a profit. I just know that I bought the stuff and I sold the stuff. Like my finances were a mess in fourth form, but I was doing something I was passionate about and I was happy with it. And I continued with that business for about 2 years, I think, until I decided to branch off into something new. And it was while I was in the entrepreneurship club at Ulm's. That's where I met you. I was the vice president and you're the president. And,
Yeah.
when we used to come up with these activities, and we used to, help other persons who wanted to start businesses. So we'll, give them advice. We told them what we knew, what we learned. And I think, yeah, that's the beginning of, us getting to know each other, like us deciding that we wanted to start our businesses. You were doing hair accessories at the time, and I was doing hair care products. And it's so ironic because I
Yes.
have a business called Hair Honey Hive, and I sell handmade hair accessories, so that's headbands and scarves. And now you have Shevielle, and you sell these hair oils and the butters and the soap. So it's like a switch. So
Yeah,
I think that's really funny. You brought it up, and I was like, wow. Yeah, so that's how we, met and got to know each other, and the beginning of our entrepreneurial journeys. Okay, we started practical at the same time, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know think you to say because she basically spoke about how we met. I think she gave more details than I had in mind because in my head, I think, of course, she just said she really came into my sphere in upper school. Yeah, she was in my sister's year group, but we really started interacting with each other more throughout the course of the club. So I'm really grateful that woman has definitely created a platform for us to actually start our businesses.
Definitely.
Part of the entrepreneurial spirit, and just to give people a little bit of the background behind the club, what the club was really meant for was a committee at first, and we would give people license to sell on campus or at school, but we would have to return like 10%, and we teach them how to do their profit and loss, their cost of manufacturing, all those little things. So yeah, it was definitely a good platform to actually get started. So doesn't matter where you are, you can start what you have.
Wait, could you repeat? I didn't hear the last part.
I was saying like doesn't matter how young you are, you can start with what you have.
Definitely. And I think, when you're young, I just find that you're bolder, and your age will only hold you back as much as you let it, because a lot of the things that I see people doing now, I see young entrepreneurs now who are in high school doing stuff, and I was like, when I was your age, I wasn't like, I never know nothing about them, something there, because I mean, like as time passes, it becomes so much easier. There's more information. I mean, the technology up there. So I think if anything, like when you're young, you really just need to be consistent, be disciplined, be dedicated, do your research. But you being young, if anything, just means that you have more time to perfect, or not even perfect, but to better your business. So that's how I think you should look at it. Look at it as an advantage.
Definitely. And I remember when I just came to you, I was like 18 at the time, and they had this entrepreneurial boot camp, and I went, and I was the only teenager who went. And I've seen people who quit them good paying job, leaving to start from scratch. And I really admire that courage you had, because for me, I didn't really have anything to lose. I was just there to learn. And I think sometimes when you're young, people kind of see you as an underdog. But the thing about being young versus older is that you're more adapt to learning and adjusting.
Definitely.
Sometimes the more adults like we become, the more we feel like we know everything, the more we feel offended when people tell us that we're not doing a good job or want to tell us what to do. So I think that's the advantage with starting entrepreneurship young. Yes, you'll make a lot of mistakes. You may not have the money to invest heavily like some persons leaving their jobs, but you're more willing to go through the trials and the ups and downs of it all. Alright, so how did we meet? So that was really good. So Tanajh, you can touch it a bit, but how long have you been in the entrepreneurial space, and what would you say are some lessons learned and some victories won over the years?
Okay. I've been in the entrepreneurial space, as I said, I feel like I want to say 6, but let's call it 5 years. And lessons learned, honestly, so many lessons. And it's funny because when I look back at the times that were the most frustrating, the times where I said, no, 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 like this can't work, this is too much, this is too rough, things aren't working out. I can look back and say those seasons taught me the most. I learned the importance of creating a system, because for me, as I said, entrepreneurship was like a hobby. I loved creating, I loved making, I loved the whole concept of having your own business and running it. But I wasn't really organized when I was younger. I just, used to do it this or do it this. So, you feel like doing it. Da, da, da. And it was really hard to balance it with school and everything else that I had going on. And the grades went down, and then the business, like, I didn't feel like I was doing enough, and I was just really overwhelmed and burnt out. And that was just because I didn't have a system, like I didn't have order. So one thing that I've learned, and it's definitely helped me with the business that I have now, is to create a system. So if you're going to do packaging this way for this amount of time in this way, then you have a system for that. You have a system for how you collect orders. You have a system for how you do delivery. You're just organized. You don't just do things on a whim and say, anybody wants a headband or anybody wants a hair oil, when you want it, just link me and I'll know. I've learned that you have to create balance, and you have to ensure that you separate your work and your life in some way, and the rest of your life in some way, because if you don't, then something's going to lose. And of course, balance isn't perfect. You're not going to be able to spend the right amount of time on everything all the time, but just knowing where you are and having things laid out, and at least having that system, so you're not saying I don't know where I stand, has really helped me, especially when you get older and you have to balance your business with work. You may be going to university. You have things to do at home. You have to take care of yourself as an individual. Your mental health is important. Your physical health is important. So I definitely say creating a system. And creating a system in terms of how you manage your finances, creating a system in terms of how you run your business, creating a system in terms of how you market your business. Definitely one of the biggest lessons I've learned. And I think that encompasses a lot. So I'll jump right into some of the wins and what that has come from. Definitely being receptive and adapting. So whenever something happens, I always analyze it and say, what does this mean? What do I need to do for this not to happen again? So if it's a case where I made a post and it did really well, I'm always analyzing it. If it's a case where the sales are up 50% 1 month, I'm always analyzing it. What caused this to happen? And I find that doing that helps you to learn, because sometimes you do well and you don't even know why you do well. Okay, you just think it's luck. It's not luck. You did something, right? So you need to really understand what it is that you did for this to happen. And in terms of building the community that I have with my followers, that has by far been the number one thing, because I started this business just because I wanted a little money. I was in university, and I just don't know. When you get older, stretching out your hand to your parents feels weirder and weirder. And I wanted to have my own. So I started this business at the beginning of university, and I just wanted to make some money, and I wanted to learn about business, because I was studying marketing at university. And I didn't think it would come out to anything, if I'm being honest. But the relationship that I've built with my customers, being personal with them, connecting with them as much as possible, including them, allowing them to get to know me and my story and who I am, has been one of the best marketing decisions that I have ever made. So, yeah.
Amen. That's a lot. And to me, listening, I've just forget, I learned a lot from Tanajh. Honestly, I think when I was still undergrad, I was at this place where I was like, I can't bother. To be honest, and I was really inspired. But Tanajh, to me, kind of bougie, So, I remember, I think we were a part of this entrepreneur.
The Vincent Ho-Sang Entrepreneurship competition. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember yesterday we're in this auditorium or lecture room by the Peach buildings, right? For you guys to go TV. And I was there and I really admired her page, and she just said, you know, she kind of give me a little download about, you know, you need to know when you need to post, you need to know like color coordination and stuff. And from she said to me like late 2019, like when I started in 2020, I started putting my social media together, guys. I think it looks much
Yeah.
better now.
I must come in there on that though.
Repeat?
I must come in there on that. Sorry to cut you. Before I forget, I want to say it earlier too. But your business has grown so much. Like when I look at how you market your products, your packaging, the level of professionalism is through the roof. Honestly, if I went and saw your products in Fontana or in a beauty store, I would just be like, it fits right in, it fits perfectly. Because, you know, you can tell when a business has pride in what they're doing and when it's just like a little thing that they're doing. You really can tell the difference, and your business looks very much established, very much professional, very much good. So I just want to commend you on that and say that you've come a really far way, like a really far way. Just continue.
Thank you so much. And I guess it's my time to talk about how long I've been in this space. So guys, I don't know. I was never that kind of a child who at one point I was, but I've always known from grade 6 what I wanted to do, and that was business. Like I wasn't really the kind of person who, when they came to university, was wondering what to do or what to go. Because I just started my business, first business in grade 6. At that time, I used to love money. And I never like when my parents borrow money from me and don't give me back. So I always had that little reserve, right? That it would come to. You know, I was at the IMF. So in grade 6, I started a business making handmade cards and for Mother's Day and Father's Day and that kind of a thing. And when I went to Women's, selling was illegal. So I almost got caught. So, you know, woman, selling was like a suspension, you know, guys. You
Yeah,
know,
that was a crime.
and that time, like the Bath and Body Works thing was kicking off, so everybody had a little hand sanitizer. They put key ring and the lip gloss. So I was selling that in grade 8. And Miss Helen Ray come to me. She said, "You know, I heard a girl in 2W selling hand sanitizer and lip gloss. It don't work anything." Go to her and tell her someone want to talk to her. You see, because I knew that girl was me, but shut down the business same time. I did the business same time because I couldn't afford to get a suspension. So I was really happy when they actually opened up this club where we could actually legally sell. And once the club started, I jumped on board in 2014. So, and as Tanajh had said, I was doing like hair accessories. I was doing like champ stuff as well. So like
Ah,
armbands. I even did a class of 2016, class 2015 armbands. So those little stuff was my kind of a thing. And when I decided to come to university now, I was like, boy, I'm not sure how well that's going to work out. And for me, I had turned vegetarian in January 2016. And, you know, people were getting more, my sister was getting into this natural hair thing. Them telling them, you know, since he was like, no magic in my hair and braid my hair. It wasn't really a big deal for my hair to do. And I decided that, hey, I want to try the castor oil thing out. And my sister had this idea that she had. I was like, cool, you know, we could start a business. But, you know, she's not really a business kind. She's a medicine kind, right? So she never really followed with it. But I saw something really, an idea that, you know, could go beyond just a little, you know, little hurry come up hustler. I thought that something that could be a family business. So I started in 2016. And I think the lessons learned, guys, over the years for me, Shevielle has definitely been a trial and error process. Sometimes it has its high and it has its lows. Because sometimes for me, if I was older when I started, I don't think I have the strength to go through the lows. I think the lessons learned is that first, guys, try to have a plan. It doesn't have to be like some big 100-page business plan, but it's important for you to at least have an idea of what you want to do for the year, every year for your business. I think that's a good way to start. Um, and when my friend Ashani introduced me to like planning, like having a plan and stuff, I didn't even know how to use it, but guys, since 2020, it's definitely been a game changer. Granted, you won't get everything done in the plan, but you do far more than if you never had a plan. You get what I said? So I'm saying that
Definitely.
you won't necessarily get everything done in the plan, but you do far more than if you never had a plan. So that's definitely a lesson learned. I think another lesson learned is invest in learning your craft, or yeah, invest in learning your craft. Don't be afraid to spend money on books or courses that can help you, especially if your business idea is not necessarily your expertise academically. That's definitely another lesson learned. A third thing I would definitely say is that don't take for granted the opportunities you have. So if you're at university now and there's a entrepreneurship competition club, or because you're young and some business support unit afford you the opportunity to go to a seminar or a workshop, take it seriously, guys. Like actually
Definitely.
don't feel like you can't do it. Don't feel like you can't win. Like, do your best and you actually learn. So those are my 3 lessons learned so far. But there are probably more lessons to it. Definitely. And I'll also say spend time around people who have entrepreneurial mindsets, because one of the things that definitely can cool your spirit is like for people to constantly be telling you that you need to follow the traditional route of go to university, get a job, get married, have children. I like, but what if you don't feel like you want to do the job thing, and you feel like you can actually do more than the job? If you're just
Yeah.
surrounded with people. You have something to say to that? Oh,
Wait,
you just
repeat. I couldn't hear what you're saying.
I was wondering if you had something else to say.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, I agree with you, definitely. Like it's not one route. And even with entrepreneurship, let me just quickly say this. The way you run your business and do your thing, it doesn't have to look like somebody else. Whether it's you doing your business as a side hustle, you're doing it part-time, you're doing it full-time, like whatever it is, whether you're running one business or two, it doesn't have to look like how somebody else runs their business. Yes, there's a right way to do things in terms of, having a plan, as Candice said, but it doesn't have to look exactly like somebody else's plan, even in business.
Right. So yeah, I definitely said try to surround yourself with people who can challenge you. And for me, I think when I came to you and I was a part of the Guild Entrepreneurship Competition, at that time it was primarily men. Like I was like the only girl who was like faithful. It was only 2 girls, and I was the only faithful, consistent one. And like they definitely challenge me because they're very you know, they're risk takers. That's a lesson learned. A victory, I think the victory for me is actually hearing people say words. Like it even feels so good, and especially when it's people I don't know, and they're like, "Hi, Shevielle," like
Ah,
and they're not TV. I don't know why people thought that came on TV. That didn't come on TV. But I
yeah.
saw you there and I like the work that you're doing. Like those the stuff definitely rewarding. I think another victory is when you've been working on a project or something and you can see the difference. So for
Yeah.
example, me and social media, just see how the page look now versus before 2020 definitely is a rewarding feeling. Um, so I have anyway. No, do the questions afterwards. Tanajh, you've spoken a bit on the lessons learned and so on. So, given that you're a FET, are you still a FET ambassador?
Yeah.
Right. So I was wondering if you want to touch a little bit on financial management and how does that actually contribute towards entrepreneurial success?
All right, definitely, definitely. So I'm a Victoria Mutual FET ambassador, and FET stands for Financial Education to Empower. So what I really do is I share financial principles that would help persons to grow and to be more financially independent, financially literate. And the connection between having your finances in order and business, a lot of persons take for granted. They just want to know that they're running their business, and there's a difference between running a business and growing a business. I didn't understand the importance of finances until much, much later on. And honestly, I know for a fact that if I had all of my ducks in a row earlier, my business would be much different now. And why I say that is because there are lots of opportunities that come with owning your own business that you will not ever get to experience unless you have your ducks in a row. And when it's too late, it becomes so frustrating. So for example, you should be able to tell me what your profit looks like every month. You should be able to tell me, okay, this is what your revenue looks like. It increased by X% or whatever, X amount of dollars. You should be able to tell me, this is on average how many customers you provide a service to or sell to every, week or month. And I think that a lot of the times we get so caught up with us making sure that we, doing day to day for the business, that we don't really think about growing the business. So let me backtrack a bit. When I talked about, the opportunities that you don't receive when you don't have your ducks in a row, if it's a case where you want to open up a business bank account, if it's a case where you want a loan, you want to take out some money to grow your business, if it's a case where you want to, contribute so you can have your own home in the future or get a car loan or whatever it is, and you are an entrepreneur, you own a business, you are self-employed, but when you do not have all of your finances in order, then you're practically forfeiting all of those opportunities, right? So how you get your finances in order, you really need to be on top of your receipts. All your customers need to be getting receipts. You need to be keeping your receipts. So if it's a case where you're spending X amount of dollars, you need to keep track of that, because a lot of the times you look at the basic cost. So you look at how much it costs you to, for example, buy the oil and package it and then sell it. But there are other costs incurred that you probably don't even, you don't even realize because you're not keeping track of it. And as entrepreneurs, small business owners, our lives, our personal lives and our businesses become so intertwined sometimes that we don't realize that, this is actually an expense, but because I'm living here and I'm at home, or because it's something that I'm already using, I don't count it, right? So a lot of the times we're making a lot less in terms of profit than we think we are, and we don't realize, because we're not keeping track of everything. So I definitely say keep track of everything, your receipts, everything that you spend on the business. If you have to take a taxi and pay $100 to go somewhere to deal with something for your business, that is an expense, right? Everything is an expense when it's something that you have to put out in order to, ensure that your business is either running or growing. Another thing is what's another thing is, and I touched on this a bit earlier, separate your personal from your business. So if you are spending money to go buy lunch, are you taking it out of the business money or are you taking it out of your personal money? Because trust me, I've had days where I remember I had a sale and I made like $15,000 selling a couple of headbands. At that time, I used to sell a headband for $250. So a girl sell off her headband. A girl have like $15,000, and I go buy food and I deal, I go have fun and I did this and I did that. I can't tell you how long that $15,000 lasts. That $15,000 just mixed up with my money. It wasn't separate. And when I had to, purchase stock again, I had to save up my lunch money to do that, because like everything was just like this. And honestly, like I was just going with the flow at that time, so it's understandable that I did that. But really separating your business money, your business finances from your finances is key, right? So I should be able to look at you, Shevielle, and say, Candice, and say, how much profit does Shevielle make like yearly on average? And you should be able to tell me that, right? We need to think of our business like big term, because what if, you grow your business, you're a sole trader and you decide that, okay, you want to incorporate your business and then sell it in a couple of years. You don't have anything to show these people that you're making money. You just have hearsay. You know what I mean? So really get your finances in order. And if you want to open up a business bank account, you have to have your finances in order, right? So I definitely say keep track of everything. Separate your personal finances from your business finances. And just make sure that you're understanding if you're actually making a profit, and you keep track of that profit. And then when I had said there's a difference between running a business and growing a business, if I make $10,000 in revenue a month, right? And I want to grow my business, I'm looking at, okay, I want to invest in my business, do what I need to do. By next year, this time, I should be making $100,000. If you're not keeping track of your finances, you just know if your business is surviving. You just know that you post every week. You just know that, you know, you have your 1-2 customer, but you don't even know if you're making more than you did before. You may be even selling more, but the profit may look the same. And you don't even know because you're not keeping track of things. And then the last thing I'll touch on is having a budget. So budgeting is not very fun for a lot of us. I don't know about you guys, but when I am expecting money or my salary or whatever, I max that out on my calculator right before I even get it. That is my style. So budgeting isn't really anything that's, you know, too tedious for me, but sometimes writing everything out is just, I don't feel like doing it. But it's important because sometimes you have an idea of something in your head. You're like, yeah, man, this, that, 5,000, 3,000, 8,000, yeah, it can work. And then when you write it out, completely different figures. I have written up my budget before, and expenses is more than income, and I don't know how I made it through that month, but I just made it work. I don't know what happened, but something happened. You know what I mean? So I think budgeting is important. Another reason why it's important is because salary. A lot of entrepreneurs do not give themselves a salary, and they say that is because they're investing in their business. And honestly, I used to say that too, but let's be real. If you work out all of your expenses, right? And for example, I sew headbands. If I wasn't sewing the headbands, I'd have to pay somebody to do it, right? That would be that person's salary. If I'm sewing the headbands, if I'm managing the social media, if I'm doing all of these things, right, I need to give myself a salary, right? So if it's a case where you're making $50,000 in revenue, you need to be able to say, okay, I'm going to take X amount of dollars, and that is my money, right? And I'm going to reinvest the rest and then have the rest as whatever retained earnings may be. But to say that you have a business and you are running a business for a couple of years and you don't take anything out of it for yourself, it just doesn't make any sense. Because especially if you want to leave your 9 to 5 or you don't want to have a 9 to 5, right? You need to pay your bills, you need to eat food, you need to be able to live comfortably. So you need to know, can this business pay me? Yes. You know, I'm selling the products. Yes, I'm making a little on it. But can it actually pay me a salary? Because I am a worker. You are self-employed, but you are still employed. So you need to be receiving a salary. So I definitely think entrepreneurs, we need to be like more realistic. Not saying you should overcharge to the point where persons don't want to purchase from you because you say, okay, you need $150,000 salary and and your business can't provide you with that. But be realistic in terms of your finances when you're looking at all your income and expenses. If you do all your finances and you say, all right, $50 profit, right? All right, yes, that's a profit. But in all honesty, technically, it's not, because you have to pay yourself for your labor. Not because it's your business, you're going to disadvantage yourself. So I definitely think it's important that we look at our business.
I just want to say something to
The big picture.
I just want to say something to regarding the salary. Like, it's really important, guys, because what you find is that as time progresses, you might find harder to actually pay yourself. I think when you actually set out of the money, say, for example, you're going to give yourself a spending money at $20,000 out of it, you find that you actually spend most of the time making sure that you actually convert to actually get $20,000 plus. Versus they're like saying, oh no, I don't have to pay myself to keep on just reinvesting. You don't really have a standard to say, oh, I need to make at least this amount for the month going forward.
Yeah, definitely. So you see, and this is one of the reasons why I said not everyone can run their business the same way. Because if you have been consistently bringing in, say, $100,000 a month in terms of profits, right? And you would only know that if you keep track of the expenses. You should be able to say, I'm going to give myself $50,000 salary a month from my business, right? Now, if it's a case where the profit that you're making is not as steady, then you can say, boy, whatever profit is there, I'm going to give myself 50% or 40% or 30%. I see a question there. I can just quickly answer it. Somebody was asking how soon after you open your business should you start paying yourself a salary? Well, you see, that depends. Because based on your plan, you should know how much you want to grow within a span of time. So if you want to grow your business from, say, producing 100 units a month, for example, to producing 1,000 units a month, then you're probably going to have to reinvest more than somebody who doesn't want to grow that quickly. Now, after you've come up with your plan and you determine, okay, this is what's best for me, then I mean, you can just start paying yourself whenever you feel like it's comfortable, whenever. It just depends on if it aligns with your business goals, you see? Because if you have some businesses out there, they don't start making a profit till all 5 years. And then after that 5 years, they start making like millions in profit, couple hundred
Like
thousand in profit.
Amazon.
Yeah, so I can't tell you like when's the best time to start. But what I can tell you is if your goal is to start, paying yourself a salary because you want to leave your 9 to 5 or whatever it is, then you need to have that in your plan and work around that. So maybe you're going to have to invest more earlier so that you can start paying yourself a salary. Yeah.
I really, honestly, Tanajh, like you spoke a lot to me right now because I don't like the numbers. It's one of the hardest part of the business aspect for me is to sit down and do all the numbers, but I recognize now, and so I said a journey, it's a learning process that, as you all said, if I had all my ducks in a row earlier, then probably I would have been at a different stage now. If I had known or if I had been diligent in applying what I have known. So I would definitely say to everybody that, hey, the numbers may not be the easiest thing to do at first, but at least try, and with time you get the hang of it and it becomes second nature for you. So, snap a picture of your receipt, upload it to Google Drive, because if it is that you're going to become tax compliant, you need to have these things on file up to 5 years. So things like 7 years in Jamaica. Those things are really important, going forward. Definitely. A lot of stuff that I'm definitely going to try to put into place. Know that I'm coming to the end of my academic career, and this is something that I really want to go into as well. Another thing, the other point that we had, actually before we close, I didn't really get to touch much on the growth of Shevielle. I want to say it really shortly, really snappy. So for all of you guys, especially if you're a student or an adult, not adult, but I always say adults, but I'm saying if you've been doing this adulting thing for a while, entrepreneurship may look a bit different for you. For me as a student, it was more of a hobby. I have that took very seriously, because I saw it as a family business that I would use to support my family in the future. So I was brand building over the 5 years, get to network with people because I'm not from Kingston while I was on campus. So I think that has been achieved so far. So, regarding the growth of Shevielle, how it really started, as I mentioned, was just us trying to find natural means that work for ourselves. I think back then when I was starting, like any opportunity I would get to tell somebody about it, that's what I would do. And I had the idea in my mind for quite some time. So what happened was that I saw a lady at my mommy's doctor's appointment, and I was just telling her about what I'm planning to do. And it so happened that she was a lecturer at UWI, so that's how the date September 12th came, because in my first year, in my first week, I think, actually sold something to her. So that's how it actually started. As Tanajh had mentioned before, like when you're just passionate about your hobby, you don't really have systems in place. So you're just running to make an order, running to this and that event, and sometimes it can be really tiring, and sometimes it's not that.
Can't hear you, Candice. Candice? Candice? Oh, I can't hear you. Hello, Candice? can't hear you. I don't know if it's me. Candice? She's not hearing me.
Hello?
You had chipped out a bit a while ago. Sorry.
Can you
When
hear
you were
me?
talking, the last thing that you said was sometimes when you're running your business as a hobby, you don't create systems and you're just trying to get an order, that was the last thing that I heard. I think the other persons on the live couldn't hear that as well.
Oh, okay. So, right, so that's the last thing. And I was saying that no, I'm actually trying to work on the systems for it to grow, right? So, for example, sorting out the finances, creating a manufacturing schedule, delegating duties and responsibilities, trying to automate some of the processes so I can have more time to do certain things that I want to do and I can actually be more profitable. Right? Tell me if I'm breaking up or anything. Alright?
No, man, I'm hearing you clearly now.
Right. So yeah, so that's what I've been trying to do now going forward as I enter into a different phase of life. So yes, that's definitely the growth process. And another thing for me is that I was saying earlier that taking my business seriously and using it as to gain practical work experience for my field of marketing has definitely helped me because basically all the jobs that I've gotten was because of my page. So I actually do content creation and also assist in social media management.
Oh, one thing that I want to note too, a lot of the times we get caught up in just running our business and trying to, keep it afloat, that we don't intentionally try to improve in certain areas and we don't try to improve holistically. So, just some advice that I throw out there for persons who are small business owners is to like look at all aspects of your business and rate yourself, how you're performing, how you'd like to perform, and then intentionally try to seek out resources and opportunities to grow. So, in terms of marketing, maybe operations, how you do your delivery, how you make your products, maybe in terms of how you manage your finances. Like look at all of those aspects of your business, rate yourself, and then determine, okay, I'm going to, pay for a course. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to watch some YouTube videos. I'm going to do whatever and try to intentionally grow in those areas. Don't just, stay afloat. Don't just run your business, grow your business. Like that's just one piece of advice that I'd like to just throw there before we take questions.
Right. So I just really want to say thank you guys for joining. It's awesome. I hope it would have been really inspirational and enlightening for you as well. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything. I know that we had a tip off, so
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So yeah, if there's no question, I want to thank you guys so much and thank you Tanajh for actually coming. Oh, there's another announcement, guys. So we're actually be having a week of throwbacks this week, and on the 26th of September, we'll be having a webinar, our last webinar for the year, entitled Time Management at Gem for Healthy Hair and Skin. I say that join us for our webinar on September 26th, and thank you guys so much for actually joining us today. So,
Yeah.
bye.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure. Bye, everyone.
Yes, thank you, Tanajh. Bye.